On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected. Andy Gibb's untimely death at the age of 30 on March 10, 1988, was the tragic culmination of years of struggles with substance abuse and depression. While the official cause of death was myocarditis, an inflammation of the heart muscle, it was widely understood that his years of cocaine use had significantly weakened his body, making him vulnerable to such complications. Gibb's passing was not the result of a single fatal overdose, but rather the long-term effects of his self-destructive lifestyle, illustrating the perils of fame, addiction, and personal demons that often afflict young stars. Gibb's rise to stardom in the late 1970s was meteoric. As the younger brother of the Bee Gees, one of the most successful musical groups of all time, he quickly found his place in the limelight. With chart-topping hits like Shadow Dancing and I Just Want to Be Your Everything, he became a teen idol almost overnight. However, the pressure to maintain this success proved overwhelming. Unlike his older brothers, Andy lacked the same level of professional discipline and emotional resilience. He struggled to navigate the burdens of fame, and by the early 1980s, his career had begun to unravel due to his worsening drug addiction. His attempts at reinvention, including Broadway performances and television appearances, were frequently marred by absenteeism and erratic behavior. Friends and colleagues noted his deep insecurity and dependency on external validation. The end of his high-profile relationship with actress Victoria Principal in 1982 marked a turning point, sending him further into a downward spiral. Even when he sought rehabilitation, his battle with addiction left lasting physical and emotional scars. Gibb's death was a somber moment for the entertainment industry and a stark reminder of the cost of fame. The immediate response was one of shock and sadness, especially from his family, who had tried in vain to help him recover. His passing underscored the fragility of young talent and the often overlooked mental health struggles of celebrities. The Bee Gees, despite their own incredible success, never fully recovered from the loss of their younger brother, and his death added a poignant note to their legacy. In the years since, Gibb's story has become emblematic of the dangers of substance abuse within the entertainment world. His legacy is preserved through his music, which continues to be celebrated by fans and reintroduced to new generations through digital streaming. His life and death serve as a cautionary tale, reflecting the darker side of stardom, how immense talent, if not nurtured and protected, can succumb to the weight of its own success. The memory of Andy Gibb remains bittersweet. While he is remembered as a gifted musician and an endearing performer, his tragic end serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities that come with fame. Through music, film, and biography, his legacy endures, ensuring that his brief but impactful time in the spotlight is never forgotten. June Marlowe's passing on March 10, 1984, from complications related to Parkinson's disease, was a quiet end for a woman who had once been a familiar face in early Hollywood. Her death, classified as natural, reflected the challenges faced by many aging stars of the silent and early sound film era: obscurity, health struggles, and the shift in public memory as new generations took the stage. Marlowe's career trajectory mirrored the rapid evolution of the film industry in the early 20th century. As a silent film actress, she thrived during the 1920s, working alongside major stars like John Barrymore and Rin Tin Tin. However, the introduction of sound cinema, or talkies, proved to be a stumbling block for many silent-era performers. Whether due to vocal limitations, an inability to adapt to the demands of sound film, or simply the fickle nature of Hollywood, Marlowe saw her prominence wane by the early 1930s. Her role as Miss Crabtree in the Our Gang shorts, though brief, left a lasting impression on audiences, ensuring her a place in popular culture. But as she stepped away from acting after her marriage in 1933, the industry moved on without her. Her later years were largely spent away from the public eye, a fate common to many early film stars. The gradual loss of independence due to Parkinson's disease marked a difficult final chapter, one that resonates with the broader reality of aging in a world that often forgets its former idols. Her death did not create widespread media shockwaves. Instead, it was a quiet conclusion to a life once spent in the spotlight. In terms of immediate consequences, Marlowe's passing was not a significant cultural moment in the way that the deaths of Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, or other Hollywood figures had been. She had been out of the public sphere for decades, and her legacy was largely preserved through nostalgic appreciation of the Our Gang series. However, her portrayal of Miss Crabtree endured in the collective memory of classic film enthusiasts and was even referenced in modern pop culture, such as in The Simpsons character Edna Krabappel. Marlowe's death underscores humanity's relationship with fame and mortality. Unlike figures whose deaths became turning points in history or legend, hers was a quiet reflection of how time reclaims even those once adored by the public. However, through film preservation, tributes, and references in media, her work remains accessible, demonstrating how art allows figures of the past to remain immortal in some way. The continued remembrance of characters like Miss Crabtree is a testament to how entertainment, even in its simplest forms, can create lasting cultural touchstones. Ultimately, June Marlowe's story is one of transition, both personal and industrial. Her passing serves as a reminder of the fleeting nature of Hollywood fame, but also highlights the power of film as a time capsule, keeping performers alive in the collective memory long after they have gone. Ray Milland, the distinguished Welsh actor best known for his Academy Award-winning performance in The Lost Weekend, passed away on March 10, 1986, at the age of 79. His death, attributed to lung cancer, was the culmination of a life deeply intertwined with the golden age of Hollywood. Milland's passing was a natural one, yet it carried symbolic weight in an era when classic Hollywood stars were fading into memory, replaced by a new generation of performers and evolving cinematic trends. Milland's career spanned over 5 decades, transitioning from dashing leading man in the 1930s and 1940s to character roles in the 1960s and beyond. His portrayal of an alcoholic writer in The Lost Weekend was groundbreaking, shedding light on the struggles of addiction at a time when such topics were often glossed over in Hollywood. That performance alone ensured his place in film history, making his death a moment of reflection for cinephiles and industry professionals alike. The circumstances of Milland's death mirrored a challenge many of his generation faced: health complications linked to an era of heavy smoking and lifestyle excesses common in Hollywood's heyday. The prevalence of smoking among actors of his time was not only a personal choice, but also a cultural expectation, reinforced by studio marketing and social norms. His passing underscored a growing awareness of the health risks associated with tobacco use, a discussion that gained traction in the 1980s. The immediate consequences of Milland's death were largely felt in the film and television communities, where he had become a respected elder statesman of the industry. While his passing did not cause political or social upheaval, it marked the continued decline of Hollywood's golden era. His contemporaries, such as Cary Grant and James Stewart, were also aging or had already passed, signaling a shift in the cinematic landscape. In the years following his death, Milland's legend continued to grow, particularly through retrospectives on classic Hollywood. His films, especially The Lost Weekend, remained essential viewing for students of cinema and historians analyzing Hollywood's treatment of social issues. Moreover, his transition to television and directorial work in his later years demonstrated his adaptability, securing his legacy as more than just a matinee idol. Millen's passing serves as a reflection on mortality, power, and memory in the entertainment industry. Unlike historical figures whose deaths altered political landscapes, his was a quieter moment, yet no less meaningful in the broader narrative of Hollywood's evolution. His career and life remind us that while fame may be fleeting, great performances endure, immortalized through art, literature, and ongoing discussion in film circles. His legacy lives on not only in the movies he starred in, but also in the cultural shifts he helped shape, from the depiction of addiction on screen to the changing perception of classic Hollywood icons in a modern era. Richard Jeni's tragic death on March 10, 2007, offers a sobering reflection on the pressures of fame, the hidden struggles of mental illness, and society's evolving understanding of depression. Jeni, a beloved stand-up comedian known for his sharp wit and observational humor, was at the height of his career when he took his own life. His death was later attributed to severe clinical depression and psychotic paranoia, conditions that had gone largely unnoticed by the public. Jeni's passing is emblematic of the immense internal battles that many public figures face despite their outward success. The world of stand-up comedy, while often seen as a realm of joy and laughter, has a well-documented history of being emotionally and psychologically taxing. The pressure to constantly perform, maintain relevance, and navigate the unpredictable nature of show business can take a severe toll on mental health. In Jeni's case, despite his accolades, including numerous television appearances, award-winning stand-up specials, and a ranking among Comedy Central's 100 Greatest Stand-Ups, his internal struggles proved overwhelming. The immediate consequences of Jeni's death were widespread shock and mourning, particularly within the entertainment industry. Fellow comedians and talk show hosts paid tribute to him, recognizing his talent and lamenting the personal battles that led to his untimely demise. Jay Leno honored Jeni's memory on The Tonight Show, and Bill Maher dedicated an episode of his show to him. Fans flooded online forums and YouTube with messages of grief and remembrance, highlighting how deeply his work had resonated with audiences. Jeni's death also contributed to a broader conversation about mental health, particularly within the entertainment industry. It underscored the importance of recognizing the warning signs of severe depression and psychosis, as well as the need for open discussions about mental illness. In the years following his passing, there has been a growing awareness of mental health challenges among comedians, with organizations and individuals advocating for better support systems. His death, much like those of other comedians who struggled with depression, such as Robin Williams, became a rallying point for greater mental health awareness. The way Jeni is remembered today speaks to humanity's complex relationship with mortality, power, and memory. While his comedy remains his lasting legacy, his struggles remind us of the unseen burdens that even the most successful individuals can carry. Society immortalizes figures like Jeni through their body of work, ensuring that their impact endures beyond their lifetimes. Comedy specials, online tributes, and the continued appreciation of his performances keep his spirit alive, transforming his legacy into one that fosters both laughter and a deeper understanding of mental health. Jeni's story ultimately serves as both an inspiration and a cautionary tale. It reminds us of the importance of mental health awareness and the need to check in on those who may be struggling, no matter how successful or outwardly happy they appear. Through art, literature, and continued dialogue, we ensure that his contributions are never forgotten and that his struggles serve to help others in similar situations. Hubert de Givenchy's death on March 10, 2018, marked the passing of one of the last great couturiers of the golden age of haute couture. At the age of 91, He died peacefully in his sleep at his Renaissance chateau near Paris. His passing was not tragic or sudden, but rather a dignified exit, befitting a man whose career was built on timeless elegance. Givenchy's death reflected the quiet retreat of the old guard of high fashion in an era increasingly dominated by fast fashion and the relentless commercial pressures of modern luxury brands. His approach to style, marked by refinement, craftsmanship, and an aristocratic sensibility, stood in contrast to the more aggressive branding and mass appeal strategies that define contemporary fashion. In many ways, his passing symbolized the closing of an era in which haute couture was synonymous with exclusivity and personal artistry, rather than celebrity endorsements and high-volume sales. The immediate consequences of Givenchy's passing were met with an outpouring of tributes from the fashion industry, Hollywood, and European aristocracy. His legacy was celebrated not just for his contributions to design, but for his unique relationships with some of the most influential women of the 20th century, particularly Audrey Hepburn. Hepburn, his lifelong muse, became inseparable from the Givenchy aesthetic, immortalized in the iconic black dress from Breakfast at Tiffany's. His work also dressed political figures such as Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, further cementing his influence on global style. Though Givenchy had long since retired, his passing reaffirmed the reverence for classic haute couture in an era of rapid change. His name, already enshrined under the ownership of LVMH, experienced renewed attention as his work was reappraised in retrospectives and exhibitions. The House of Givenchy, though now led by a new generation of designers, leaned into its founder's legacy, reinforcing the continued relevance of his aesthetic ideals. Givenchy's death underscores humanity's relationship with fashion as both a temporal and eternal force. While trends come and go, his influence remains embedded in the visual culture of film, photography, and design. He is immortalized through countless fashion retrospectives, museum exhibitions, and the continued operation of his eponymous fashion house. The enduring appeal of his work reminds us that fashion, at its best, is not just about clothing. It is a form of storytelling, a reflection of the values and aspirations of an era. His life and death invite reflection on how we commemorate artistic figures, particularly in industries as ephemeral as fashion. In a world where style is often dictated by algorithms and fleeting digital trends, Givenchy's legacy serves as a testament to the power of elegance, restraint, and craftsmanship. Through art, literature, and the preservation of his most iconic designs, he remains a figure of timeless inspiration, demonstrating that true style is, indeed, eternal.